Yeah. Okay. हेलो, इनपुट क्लियर है? जा रहा है इनपुट? ठीक है, लगा दो, बोर्ड लगा दो। इधर आना कार्तिक। All right, so guys, last class we did cover some introduction about polity. Okay, so as to what we have to read in polity, we have to learn about the basic concepts of polity, basic concepts which have been written in constitution. All right, some important articles, some important constitutional bodies. पीछे the, the parts in which the constitution has been divided. All right, what subjects are being dealt with in polity in which part of the constitution, so on and so forth. All right, and some important personalities, some constitutional bodies and some constitutional personalities. For example, prime minister, president, vice president, supreme court judges, high court judges, CAG, so on and so forth. Right, so today we are starting our chapter 1 in polity, which is parts of constitution. Parts of constitution. Parts of constitution. See, just like any other book, if I were to go to a bookstore and I were to ask a mathematics book, all right, class 10th mathematics book, so I would get a book like this, and on the very first page of that book should be an index, all right, yes or no? And on that index, everything which is inside that book is written. Its summary is written, all right, just like chapter 1 arithmetic, page number 1 to 20, all right, chapter number 2 geometry, page number 21 to 50, all right, so that it becomes easier for any student or any teacher to directly go to the topic which he or she is interested in rather than shuffling the entire book. All right, the same is with constitution. Different subjects, different important things have been classified into different parts of constitution. All right, we'll see them. All right, now just remember, in last class we saw that our constitution was readied on 26/11/1949. Yes or no? The entire constitution was made ready by the Constituent Assembly. What was Constituent Assembly? Constituent Assembly was a meeting hall just like this by the freedom fighters of that time. All right, the freedom fighters of 1920s, 1930s, 1940s, or even prior to that. Some of the important freedom fighters were, yes, name me one. Any freedom fighter? Jaldi, 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 quickly. Gandhi, very good. Oh, okay, Gandhi. Yes. Name anyone. Name anyone freedom fighter. Yes, come on. Nehru, very good. Nehru. All right. Yes. From Manipur, freedom fighter from Manipur. She was a lady, young lady, very famous, world famous. Yes, anyone? Rani Gaidinliu, very good. Yes, anyone? Any other freedom fighter? Yes, from this side. Name me anyone. And there were so many people. No. Subhash Chandra Bose, very good. Yes, you tell me. Anyone? Ah, yes. Subhash Chandra Bose is done. Bhagat Singh, yes, very good. Anyone else? The first Home Minister of India, the man who united India, the man who brought every princely state together to form what we know as Republic of India, also known as Iron Man of India. Come on, Sardar Patel. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Yes or no? Sardar Patel, the main force behind the framing of our constitution. Yes, in the back. Tell me, the main man, the main personality behind the framing of constitution. Dr. Ambedkar. All right. So all these people were freedom fighters. All right. Rabindranath Tagore, C.R. Das, Sarojini Naidu, right? Annie Besant, Gomesh Chandra Banerjee. All right. And so many other people coming from almost every part of the country, right? And engaged in multiple occupations. Like some of them were advocates, some of them were doctors, some of them were businessmen, industrialists, many of them were farmers, right? Some of them, many of them were working inside the country, and some of them were working for India's freedom from outside the country, right? Bikaji Kama, for example, right? And so many more. So all these people were freedom fighters and they were part of what was known as Constituent Assembly. They all were part of Constituent Assembly. And one of the main purpose, one of the main tasks of Constituent Assembly was to frame a new constitution for independent India. All right. This was a challenge actually given by the British government to the Indians. They said to us that you are uneducated people, you are unsophisticated people, you don't have that much talent and that much skill to write your own constitution. Therefore, we are here to rule you. And when we will think that we have educated you enough, then we will leave. All right. So, freedom fighters took this as a challenge, right? And they created what is known as Constituent Assembly. It's just like a meeting hall in which we all are sitting right now. During that time, in 1945, 46, 47, our freedom fighters used to sit in such a hall which was known as Constituent Assembly. So they formed a Constituent Assembly, and the main purpose of Constituent Assembly was to frame constitution for independent India. All right. So they came up with a constitution on which date? On 26/11/1949. All right. But they did not implement the entire constitution on this given day, right? As we have said, only 20 to 30% of the provisions were implemented on ground. All right. What happened to the rest of the constitution? What happened to the rest of it? Yeah. What happened to the rest of the constitution, guys? The major part of the constitution, all right? The rest of the constitution was implemented on 26th of January 1950, all right? Why so? Why so? Why 26th of January was chosen only? Why 26th of January was chosen specifically? Any reasons? We discussed it yesterday, no? Why only 26th January was chosen? Yes? Tell me. Tell me. Why only 26th January was chosen? Come on, guys. Tell me. Because in 1929, in Lahore session, we had passed a resolution. The Congress had passed a resolution known as Purn Swaraj, which translates as complete independence. Okay. Up till 1929, the Congress was not sure as to what to demand from British government. They were not sure themselves. Multiple directions of demands were flowing out from the Congress towards the British government. But in 1929, they all came together and they all agreed upon a firm principle that now we want, from here on, what we want complete independence. All right, no self-government, no half-baked idea of independence, none of this bullshit, no nonsense. From here on, we want complete independence, which is known as Purn Swaraj. And to celebrate this resolution, Indian flag for the first time was hosted on the banks of river Ravi in Punjab on 26th of January 1930. All right. So that event happened on 26th of January 1930. So to respect this day, to respect this 26th January, we decided to implement the rest of our constitution on January 26, 1950. All right. On this day, the entire constitution was put in practice, was implemented throughout the nation. Getting my point? Fine. And this day we celebrated as 26 January, we celebrated as Republic Day. Celebrated as Republic Day. All right. So these questions have come directly or indirectly into last year questions. We must be careful about this. Sanjaya, ठीक है? Now moving ahead. As we have discussed, our constitution is divided into different parts, sort of, right? Now you tell me. Okay, now you tell me. After so many years of struggle, right? The Constituent Assembly, our freedom fighters have finally come up with our constitution. All right, right? We were under the occupation of British government. Prior to that, Marathas ruled over the entire nation for 100 or so years. Before that, there were Mughals. All right, and during the most part of modern history, Britishers were there. Right, and the main aim of British government, the main aim of Britishers in India was only to trade, was only trade. They were here only to earn money. All right, they had nothing to do with culture, they had nothing to do with history, they were least bothered about human rights or whatever ethical principles you think were important. None of it, they were having none of it. They were only concerned with making money, right? Making money, as much as of it they could. Okay, they were only concerned with making money. So okay, now draw a table like this. Part, make this column a shorter one, don't give it that much of space. Subject matter, make this column wider. Articles covered. This is clear, no? This is visible in the back. Is this visible in the back, guys? Am I audible to you in the back also? Okay. Okay. So, part, subject matter, and articles covered. What are articles? Articles are any important thing in the constitution is written under an article. All right. Every new information, every new piece of knowledge in constitution is written under an article, because constitution is a large, a very lengthy legal document. All right. So everything written under constitution has a special value, so that it could be discussed in case of any dispute in the high courts or the Supreme Court. All right. So every piece of information is written under a separate article. All right. In original constitution, there were 395 articles. Right. On 26th of November 1949, when the constitution was readied finally, it contained 395 articles. Right. Now, our constitution is a living document. It has changed with time. Yes or no? Right? Yes or no? It has changed with time. So, the process, even if I were to replace a semicolon with full stop, or if I were to change the spelling of anything in our constitution, the process would be called amendment to the constitution. Right? Amendment to the constitution. If I am were to make even a very small amendment, even a very small change, alteration in constitution, or if I were to add some heavy loaded paragraphs in constitution, both the processes would follow the same process. Both the processes would be called amendment to the constitution. All right. Right. And this power of amending the constitution rests only with the Parliament of India. Right. Means state governments, for example, government of Assam, government of Manipur, government of Nagaland, government of Uttar Pradesh, government of Andhra Pradesh, or any of these state governments, they don't have any power regarding the amendment to the constitution. Whatever changes needed to be done in the constitution will only be done by the Parliament, by the union government, by the central government. All right. Right. Okay, fine. So part one of constitution deals with union and its territories. Union and its territories. And the articles covered are from 1 to 4. Articles covered are 1 to 4. Union and its territories. Write it down. Now tell me, what does the term territory mean? Territory is territory is piece of land. Territory is piece of land. Piece of land of what? Of union. Here union means our nation, entire India. All right. Union also means union government. All right. But the meaning of the word changes in relation to the context in which it is used. All right. So here the union means the government of India, the country as a whole. India and its boundaries and the land it occupies. The land on the world map, which we call India, is India's territory. Right? If I were to draw my country on world map, I would start from a point and would draw some lines and ultimately end that line. Right? So the area covered under that graph is India's territory. Is Union's territory. Yes or no? Is India's territory. Now tell me, is the territory of any country fixed? Yes or no? Hmm? Yes or no? How many of you are saying yes? Is the territory of any country fixed forever? Yes or no? How many of you are saying yes, it is fixed forever? How many of you are saying no? How come? It means the territory of a nation can change. How come? How so? How can the territory of any nation be increased or decreased? Tell me. Yes, anyone? How can the territory of any nation be increased or decreased? Hmm? Right? Come again. If we mix some other countries like jam, mix kar lo, this process is known. Listen, yes, it is possible. It's possible for a country to extend its territories. All right. Can we buy land or not in individual capacity? Do we buy land or not? We do buy land. Can the country buy land or not? Yes. When the country would buy a piece of land, let's say India decided to buy 10 islands in Bay of Bengal, all right, from Myanmar, all right, let's say this happens. The territory of India has increased, yes or no? The territory of India has increased, all right? We can buy out some land or we can sell some land, all right? Case number one. Case number two, let's say India and Pakistan go to war and India occupies part of Lahore, the entire Lahore and some part of Islamabad, right? Let's say this happens. This would have happened in 65 and as well as in 1971, right? But our government, for some God knows reasons, they pulled our army back. I don't know why, but let bygones be bygones. Let's say it happens. So now the Indian land, the Indian boundary would include Lahore and Islamabad also, right? And if I were to draw the map, I would draw a different map than what is today. All right. So that means India's territory has increased. Yes or no? India's territory has increased. That means proper amendments would be needed to made would be in part 1. All right. And the articles it covers 1 to 4. That means if the territory of India gets increased or gets decreased, it means the proper amendments would need to be made under articles either 1, 2, 3 or 4 or all of them put together. All right. Because the situation has now changed. India's territory is no more the same as it would used to be. All right. So proper amendments would be needed to make in proper parts of constitution, which is in this case is part 1, which deals with the territorial extent of our country. All right. India starts from here, ends from here, and this entire portion is covered, and this entire piece of land we call India. All right. Getting my point? Part number 2. Citizenship provisions. Citizenship provisions. And the articles it deals are from 5 to 11. Citizenship provisions. After having decided the territorial extent, the territorial boundaries of India, the second most important thing which framers of constitutions thought was to decide upon these citizenship provisions. All right. which person can be called as citizen of India? Right? Listen, we all are citizens of India. Yes or no? We all are citizens of India. Now tell me, is my citizenship forever? Should I take it for granted? We all take it for granted. Yes, that's for sure. But is it forever? Can I surrender my citizenship to the government or not? Yes or no? I can surrender my citizenship to the government. Okay, on my free will. Can my citizenship be taken away from me or not by the government? Yes, it can be taken away from me by the government if I don't follow the particular laws set up by the parliament in this regard. Getting my point? Right? If I'm in violation of those laws which have been set by the Parliament of India regarding the citizenship of every citizen, irrespective of gender or locality or region or whatever, all right, then my citizenship can be taken away from me. All right? Now let's suppose Jackie Chan decides to leave China and he says that I want to be a part of India. Can Jackie Chan become citizen of India? Yes or no? No? Yes, he can. If he fulfills the laws made by the parliament in this regard. Okay? Jackie Chan, Tom Cruise, right? Any person in the world can acquire Indian citizenship provided he or she fulfills the laws made by the parliament in this regard. All right? Now let's suppose. So the articles that would need amendment regarding this are Article 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, either one of them or some of them or all of them. Alright? The parliament would make certain amendments, certain changes to the laws, alright, under Articles 5 to 11 if it wants to change the laws regarding the citizenship provisions. Right? Getting my point? Yes or no? Alright. Now part number 3, part third. Part third, guys, deals with fundamental rights. Fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are mentioned in Constitution from Article 12 to 35. Fundamental rights are mentioned in Article from 12 to 35. Right? Now, what are these rights? Tell me. What are these rights? As citizens of India, we enjoy these rights. Yes or no? We enjoy these rights every time. They are available to us every time, 24/7. They are available to us. All right? And they are so easily accessible. We are so born with them that we have started taking them for granted. Yes or no? All right? Yes or no? Now tell me by your own personal experience, what kind of rights do you enjoy? Tell me any right. Tell me any right. What kind of rights do you enjoy? Right to equality. Yes, very good. Right to equality. Equality before law. Equality before law. All right? Every citizen of India, irrespective of his or her gender, right, regionality, his place of birth, his religion, or whatever, we all are equal in the eyes of law. This is a fundamental right. This is a fundamental right. This is a right has been given to us by the framers of our constitution. All right, very good. Right to equality. Right. Any other law? Any other freedom or any other right? Right to speech. Right to speech. You mean to say right to express. Right of expression, and that expression could be in the form of speech, or either I could draw a cartoon, or I could write something, or I could make any movie, any documentary. All this is covered under right to expression. But is this right absolute? Is this right without boundaries or without limitations? No. Right? Right? Right to speech, right to expression is not absolute. Right? It comes with certain restrictions. Right? It comes with certain restrictions. Very good. Yes, in the back, tell me. Right? Any right? Any fundamental right that we enjoy? Right to? Yes, right to religion. Very good. Right to religion. Right against exploitation. Very good. Right against exploitation. We all enjoy this right against exploitation. Right against exploitation means no person can force any other person into forced labor. All right? Or no kid or no woman or no person for that matter can be subject to the inhuman conditions of human trafficking. All right? This is right against exploitation. Very good. Yes, any other right? Where have you come from? From which state? From Nagaland. You came from Nagaland to Delhi. Did anyone stop you? No. If you decide to go to Bangalore the next week, can anyone stop you? No. This is freedom of movement. All right. Freedom of, I can go anywhere in my country. All right. I can practice any livelihood in my country. All right. I mean, legal livelihoods. Right. Not like printing fake currency. Right. You can say this is my livelihood. This is not. Right. So this freedom of movement, freedom of livelihood. Right. These all rights are covered under Articles 12 to 35, and all of them in combined form are known as fundamental rights. Right? Now, why this word fundamental? This word fundamental, this word fundamental signifies a lot of things. These rights are not only necessary to live a decent life, they are very much required to fulfill our dreams to the possible extent. Huh? Right? They are very fundamental to a decent living. They are very much fundamental to express myself fully. All right. Hence the term fundamental. All right. Very basic fundamental rights. Without them, the life as we know it, or the rights or the freedoms that we enjoy in our country as we know it, would not exist. Right? Would not exist. So hence the term fundamental rights. Now, a very important thing. Fundamental rights. Fundamental. There is a technical term used, fundamental rights, that fundamental rights are justiciable. What do you mean by this? Fundamental rights are justiciable. It means what? It means that fundamental rights are protected by the Constitution, right? 24/7, right? If any person violates my fundamental rights, or any organization violates my fundamental rights, or any government for that matter violates my fundamental rights, right? I can directly go to high courts or Supreme Court. I can directly go to high courts or Supreme Court, right? These rights, every citizen's rights, are protected forever at every given point of time by our Constitution. All right, and hence the term justiciable is used. That fundamental rights are justiciable. No one can dare to take your or my fundamental rights away from me or you. All right, and if that person or if that organization or if that government does so, the affected person can directly go to high courts or Supreme Court, and then the proper action would be taken against that person or that government, that why did you take away, or why did you even think of taking away the fundamental rights of this person or this organization. Getting my point? Right? They are constitutionally protected. They are constitutionally protected. All right? Fundamental rights. Next is part 4 is Directive Principles of State Policy. In short, they are written as DPSPs. And the articles they cover go from 36 to 51. From 36 to 51. From 36 to 51. Directive Principles of State Policy. Part number 4. Directive Principles of State Policy. DPSP. These are, as the name suggests, these are directives. These are actually instructions. All right? These are instructions given by the Constitution. To whom? To the governments, both at the central level and at the state level. Right? These are the instructions given by the Constitution to governments, both at the central level, which is the parliament, all right, the central government, the union government, and the respective state governments. All right, that instructions in the form of These are actually requests by the constitution. The constitution says that central government and state governments, whenever they pass a law, whenever they pass any act or any policy or any guideline, they should take care of these certain 10 to 15 principles, 10 to 15 instructions that we have given them, right? For example, protection of environment, protection of environment, that whenever central government or any state government passes laws, any law, it should take care of environment also, it should take care into consideration of environment also. All right, we cannot destroy our environment, we cannot destroy our forests or our tiger reserves or our national parks for the sake of development, for the sake of construction. All right, I cannot build a sports complex by destroying my tiger reserve. All right, or I cannot destroy or I cannot alter the path of a river just so that I have to build some infrastructure project, right? These are the instructions. This is one of the instructions laid out by the constitution to the state governments and central government. All right. For example, another of this example is, it says that the government should take care while framing any law that the difference between the rich and poor does not exceed. Okay, it should make fair and equitable laws, right? The income gap between the poor and rich should decrease over time, not increase. All right, the government should take care of this principle while making laws. Getting my point, right? So these are some of these are instructions written in the constitution under part 4. They are termed as directive principles of state policy. All right, and they cover articles from 36 to 51. There's one more principle, there's one more issue which has been doing rounds since past 5 to 6 years. You must have heard about it. It is UCC. What is UCC, guys? Uniform Civil Code, right? Have you heard of it or not? Uniform Civil Code. It is mentioned under Article 44 of Constitution, right? Uniform Civil Code. What does it say? Uniform Civil Code. It means one law for one country, one law for the entire nation, right? One law for every citizen, all right? Irrespective of their cultural or religious beliefs, right? There cannot be a separate law for Christians. There cannot be, should not be a separate law for Muslims. Cannot be or should not be separate law for Hindus, all right? Or for that matter, any other religious denomination, all right? We all are citizens of one country, right? We all share the same culture, the same history. Therefore, we should all work under we should all operate under one law, one common law, all right? It is said under Article 44, which is termed as Uniform Civil Code, right? It is one of the instructions written in DPSP, all right? Similarly, the concept of panchayat, that the government should aim to create panchayats at local level so as to empower the people at the grassroots in villages and in cities, and to solve the petty disputes at the ground level itself. So the workload in the district courts, in higher courts and in supreme courts can be reduced, right? The concept of panchayats. The concept of panchayat is written under Article 40. Concept of panchayat. Have you heard about panchayat? I hope yes. You all are aware of the panchayats, no? Hai na? You all are aware of the panchayat. Does every state of India has panchayat? No. The state of Nagaland does not have the provisions of panchayat. All right? The state of Manipur has panchayats or not? Yes. There are panchayat elections regularly held. All right? Wherever there is provision of panchayat. In most of the states of India, there is a provision of election to panchayats and municipalities. All right? But there are some states, some areas where the provisions of panchayats and municipalities, they don't extend, right? Because the law has been made as such, right? The law has been made as such. So these are some instructions. Okay? These are some instructions. All right? Now, the basic difference between part 4 and part 3. The basic difference between fundamental rights and DPSPs. The main difference, the most important difference between both these things. Both of these things are part of our constitution. All right. Both of these things are important in the smooth functioning of the country, in the day-to-day administration of the country. All right. In preserving the law and order, the culture, and the mutual harmony between people and between states of the country. All right. All of these things are important. But there is a stark difference between part 4 and part 3rd. What is that? As I said, part 3rd is justiciable. It means part 3rd is enforced by constitution 24/7. All right. But not DPSP. DPSPs are non-justiciable. DPSPs are what? They are non-justiciable in the sense that if any government fails to implement the directions written under Part 4 while making laws or any act or any provision or any guidelines, you cannot take that court. You cannot take that government to court just because they violated the principles of DPSP. All right, getting my point? You cannot take that government or that law into the court. You cannot challenge that law. You cannot challenge the actions of that government in high courts or Supreme Court just because they violated the principles of DPSP. Because DPSPs have been made as non-justiciable. It is not mandatory on the part of government to follow each and everything written in DPSP, but it is mandatory on the other hand. It is obligatory on the part of governments and organizations and citizens, you and I, to follow everything written under the fundamental rights. All right. All right. We cannot abridge, we cannot take away fundamental rights of each other. All right. But the government can decide to not follow one of the instructions or many of the instructions or any of the instructions written under DPSP because constitution has not enforced them. Constitution has only requested the government, right, that we expect that being a moral government you would follow these principles. It's not mandatory, right? This is the main stark difference between part 3rd and part 4. Getting my point? In judicial language, in technical language, it is called justiciable, and DPSPs are non-justiciable. Okay? All clear? All good? Up to this point, any doubts? Yes, anyone? Feel free to ask any doubt, okay? Feel free to ask any doubt. Yes, please. Yes. Yes, very good. He says that I have just said that fundamental rights cannot be taken away. All right, they are enforced 24/7. Now he says what happens in emergency. Very good question. Emergency is a special provision, right? Emergency, the word itself means that there is some emergency. So the situation of emergency cannot be dealt with the simple existing laws, right? All right. Therefore, something special must be done to resolve those conflicts, to resolve that situation which has led to emergency, right? And those special situations, those urgent situations, they demand some special action to be taken on the part of government, and it allows the government to suspend fundamental rights for that duration. All right, it could be one day, it could be 5 months, or it could be 5 years. All right, getting my point? As long as emergency is there, national emergency is there, the fundamental rights can be suspended by the government, okay, until the emergency situation is reversed. All right, for example, war takes place, right? Let's suppose war takes place between India and China, right? And God knows when that war ends, right? It could end in a month, could extend up to 2 years. Yes or no? Right? We don't know when the wars will end. Just like the conflict of Russia and Ukraine, right? It has been more than 2.5 years. All right? It started on 24th of February 2022. It's been more than 30 months. The war is still going on. Yes or no? Right? So we don't know when the war would end. Right? So emergency is a exception. Emergency is a exception. Under emergency, we can suspend fundamental rights. Very good question. I was coming to emergency. Yes. Yes. Not every fundamental right. It depends on the order passed by the president. President can either suspend some of the fundamental rights or all the fundamental rights. Okay. It depends on the order passed by the parliament. Let me come to that part and then we will discuss it in detail. All right, emergency provisions. Hmm? Let me come to that part and then we will discuss in detail. Emergency provisions are covered under part 18 of Constitution. We are just coming to that. Okay? Hmm? Let me come to that. And all the fundamental rights, even under normal situation, they are not absolute. All right? They are not absolute. They come with certain conditions. Huh? They come with certain conditions. I have a right to speak, but I cannot speak anything or everything to anyone every time. Right? There is a limitation. I have a right to write anything, but I cannot write and I cannot abuse. I cannot go on abusing Supreme Court judges or High Court judges just like I abuse my friend. All right, this is not permitted. This is restricted. All right, so my freedom of expression, my freedom of speech is restricted. Right, but those restrictions are very, very much reasonable, and they are written in Constitution itself. All right, let's move forward. Part 4 was DPSP. Up to this point, any more doubts? Guys in the back, all clear? They are all clear? Shall we move forward? All right. Right, part 4A. 4A. Fundamental duties. Fundamental duties. It contains only one article, which is 51A. It contains only one article, which is 51A. Right? Now, what are fundamental duties? Tell me. Yes, tell me. What are fundamental duties? Just like we have fundamental rights, yes or no? We have fundamental rights, but as a citizen of India, as responsible citizens, we also have some certain fundamental duties towards each other, towards our society, towards our country, and towards ourselves. Yes or no? We all have some fundamental duties also. It's not that had these duties not been written in Constitution, we wouldn't have followed them. We do it anyway, but for the sake of it, the Constitution framers have written fundamental duties under part 4A. These are some very simple ethical duties which we do in our daily lives anyway. All right, there are a set of 10 to 11 duties which ask us to do very simple things, like for example, yes, any example of fundamental duties, what it might contain? Respect of national emblem, yes, national flag, national song, right? It is incumbent upon every citizen, you and I, to respect the national symbols, right? Very good. Any other duty? Yes, anyone else? Guys, anyone else? To respect the ancient monuments, all right? To respect our ancient monuments. It should not happen that you go visit Elephanta caves, right? In Mumbai, right? Off the shore of Mumbai, right? And you write, oh, Rahul loves Ankita. These things should not happen, okay? You should respect your ancient monuments. This is one of the fundamental duties which our Constitution asks us to follow, right? Right? Any more example? Any other example? Fundamental duties? See, you have to see, when we will cover this part separately, we will enlist all those 10 to 11 duties which are written in it. All right? And you have to memorize them. You have to read them at least 4 to 5 times so that they are imprinted in your mind. So that at least when the option comes, you can eliminate one duty that is not in that option. All right? If you go by the ethical principles, if you go by the journal statement, the journal feeling of duties, you might get confused. All right, in SSC or in defense, they might ask you which of the following is not a fundamental duty. All right, and in option number 1, they have written to respect national flag. It's a fundamental duty. All right, yes. Option number B, to preserve the environment, is the fundamental duty. Yes. Number third, to respect the ancient monuments, is a fundamental duty. Yes. And option number D, they wrote helping a blind man cross the road. It's a fundamental duty. You might think, yes, what's wrong in it? But it's not. All right. So you mark option all the above. So instead of getting 2 marks, you'll get minus 0.66. All right. It's an ethical principle. It's a good thing to do, but it's not a fundamental duty, right? It's not written in constitution. So we have to go by what's written in constitution and not by our own, imaginary things. All right. Someone says, if someone sends you a friend's request, you must accept it. Yes, this is a fundamental duty. No, right? We have to only follow what is written in constitution. Getting my point? Fundamental duties. Now, just like part 4, part 4a is also non justiciable. Part 4a is also non justiciable. That means if a citizen is not fulfilling his share of fundamental duties, you cannot take that citizen, him or her, to courts, right? Unless the government has passed a law specifically, right, to that purpose. Getting my point? Unless the government has passed a law specifically to that purpose, you cannot take that person to court. All right? We all go to movies, yes or no? Sometimes what happens before the starting of a movie, the national anthem is played. All right. So almost everybody stands up in respect. All right. Let's say a person is there who's not standing, who's not respecting. So can you take that person to jail, to court? No, because it is not justiciable. All right. And also the government has not passed any law to that effect. So he is free to sit or he is free to stand up. It's his or her wish. All right. Getting my point? Good. Part number 5, union government. Union government. All the provisions related to union government are dealt under part 5. Union government, the prime minister, the union ministers, the president, all right? Everything is dealt with under part 5. All right? When we'll come to it, we'll see all these parts in detail. Not every part and not in that much of detail, but some important parts we'll be dealing with in detail. All right? In coming classes. This is just chapter 1, the classification of parts, the classification of different subjects under different parts. You must remember it, right? You must read it 4 to 5 times because the question comes like that. The question would come fundamental rights or the union government emergency provisions, and here the parts would be written part 9, part 12, right? And they can ask you to match option number A to C, B, A, like this, right? Question comes like this. Okay? Question comes like this. Part number 6, the state government. The state government. The state government. Now write part number 7. Right? Part number 7 repealed by 7th Constitutional Amendment Act 1956. Repealed by 7th Constitutional Amendment Act 1976. Meaning of repeal is to delete something. Repeal means to delete something. What it means, that part number 7 was there in the original constitution. All right, from 1949 to 1956 it was part of our original constitution, right? In 1956 what parliament decided? It decided to remove that part, to delete that part. So the word used is repealed. Yes. The articles are not important in part 5 or part 6 only. I will only mention those articles which I think are important for you to understand and to keep in mind, right? Those articles are not that important. Therefore, I have not mentioned them. Now, what is this? What is CAA? Constitutional Amendment Act. I hope we are clear. We are clear between these two words, bill and act. We cleared the difference in the last class. No, bill is just a proposal. It has no legal standing. It has no legal backing. But an act is a law. All right. We have to follow the provisions under an act. All right. Now, act can be of many types. One type is normal acts. All right, which do not require amendment to the constitution. The day-to-day working of the country, right? In terms of finance, in terms of administration, police, internal security, foreign policy, whatever. All right, they don't require amendment to the constitution. So most of the laws, most of the acts passed by the parliament are simple acts, are normal acts. All right, only some of the things require amendment to the constitution, and those acts are called constitutional amendment acts. Getting my point? Only those acts are called constitutional amendment acts, and there is a separate process to it. All right, a constitutional amendment act is passed in a different way as compared to a normal act. All right, for example, let me give you example. What is the age, what is the minimum age required if a person wishes to contest the elections for the post of president? Tell me, what is the minimum age required if a person wishes to contest the post uh, elections for president? It is 55, 35. It is 35. All right. Now the parliament decides that 35 is too young of an age. Let's raise it to 45. Like, let's raise it to 45. So a bill will be brought to that effect, right? A bill will be brought to that effect, है ना? And that bill would finally become an act. So that act wishes to change something in our constitution. So that act would be called as Constitutional Amendment Act, right? Now let's suppose if the government wishes to increase the penalty for violating a traffic light, for violating red light, from 500 rupees to 1000 rupees. Does constitution need amendment for this? No. So this would be a simple act. Okay, the simple acts are passed in a different way, and constitutional amendment acts are passed in a different way. When we come to this, we'll discuss it later. Getting my point? All right. Not everything requires amendment to the constitution. In fact, most of the things, 99% of the things, they don't require amendment to the constitution. Right? They are done by passing simple acts and by repealing simple acts. All right, repeal means delete. So this was repealed by the 7th Constitutional Amendment Act 1956. All right, part number 8. Union territories. Union territories. Union territories. Now tell me, what is the difference between part 8 and part 1? भाई भैया दोस्त इधर हो अरे ब्रो नहीं आ रही है तो फोन आ जाता है। तो ये क्लास हम शाम को देख सकते हैं। वो तो मिल जाएगी ना इस पे पायनियर पे। अच्छा अच्छा ठीक है। अच्छा केवल वही लोग देख सकते हैं जो। अच्छा अच्छा ठीक है। चलो। Yes, tell me the difference between part 8 and part 1. They sound similar, don't they? They sound similar, don't they? Read what's part 1? Union and its union and its territories. And what is part 8? The the union territories. What is part 8? The union territories. And part 1 is union and its territories. What's the difference? What's the difference between part 8 and part 1? Or is it a mistake by the framers of constitution? They repeated the same thing in part 8. What is difference? Tell me. Yes. Come on. Part 1 is restricted to, all right. Part 8 is 8 union territories. Yes, very good. Part 8 is a part of part 1. Yes or no? Part 8 is a part of part 1. The union territory, union and its territory, India and its land, India and the entire land which constitutes the country India. It contains part 8 in it or not? The union territories. How many union territories are there? 8. There are 8 union territories, and the territory of India contains either states or union territories. So the union territories, very good. So the union territories are part of union and its territories. All right. Union territories are one of the territories of India, right? And the others are the states, the 28 states that we have in India. All right. Yes or no? So part 8 is a subset. Part 1 is superset, and part 8 is a subset. Okay? Getting my point? All right. Moving on. Part 9. Panchayats. 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 This was also not in the original constitution. It was also added by suitable amendment. I'll make you write it down after the end of the chapter. Okay. Part 9 is panchayats. We all are aware of the panchayats. The normal tenure of a panchayat is for how many years? 5. The normal tenure of a panchayat is just like the tenure of a state government, which is 5 years, and just like the tenure of central government, which is 5 years. Yes or no? Panchayats also are constituted for 5 years, and every 5 years the elections are repeated. All right? Yes or no? All these provisions, the power of panchayat, the responsibilities of panchayat, the entire structure of panchayat, the functioning of panchayat, all right, they are dealt with under part 9. They are dealt with part 9. Getting my point? Okay? But not every state of India has the uh, level of panchayat, has tier 3 government of panchayat. Just like the state of Nagaland does not have system of panchayat, right? But there is a special act to it, PISA Act 1994-95. PISA Act, provision extension of laws into panchayat areas. PISA Act. We'll discuss it later. Part 9A, write down. Part 9A. The municipalities. The municipalities. Part 9A. The municipalities. Every big city and almost every city of every state has a municipality, yes or no? Right? It has a municipalities. But big cities have a municipal corporation, just like Delhi, right? Guwahati, Hyderabad, Bangalore, they have municipal corporation. The bigger the city, it will get a municipal corporation, right? And the rest of the cities will get simple municipalities. The structure of municipality, its functioning, its powers, the responsibility it entails, everything is dealt with part 9A of Constitution, all right? It deals with the concept of municipalities, its elections and everything. Write down. Part 10. Scheduled and tribal areas. Scheduled and tribal areas. Scheduled and tribal areas. All right. Some areas in states are designated as scheduled areas or tribal areas. What does a scheduled area mean or a tribal area means? It means that the mainstream laws, the laws which are implemented in the rest of the country, are not implemented in the same manner in the areas designated as scheduled areas or tribal areas, right? At the central level, the president has this power to declare any area scheduled area, tribal area. And on the state level, who has this power? The governor. The governor has this power to declare, right, scheduled area or tribal area, okay? And both the president and the governor have these rights to say, has this power to say that what part of this existing law would apply to these areas or with what modification, right? It means to say that the normal laws in their present form, they don't extend in toto completely to these areas, all right? And the reasons could be many. There is cultural difference or any historical importance or any military importance, right? Or any environmental importance. It could be any of the reasons. Okay? Right? So some areas have been classified as scheduled areas and tribal areas. All right? India is a very diverse country, guys. Okay? It's a tropical country. It's a very diverse country, geographically speaking. In terms of demography, we have a huge diversity. All right? Almost every religious denomination can be found in India. Almost every religious denomination can be found in India. Yes or no? Yes. In terms of culture, in terms of language, in terms of religion, in terms of cuisine, there are more than 250 ways in which a simple potato can be cooked in India. Alright? There are more than 250 ways to cook a simple potato. Right? Diversity of festivals. Right? The famous Hornbill Festival in the state of Nagaland. Right? So, and every state has its own dance forms, right? Local art forms. It's just so much of diversity. So the same law cannot be applied in the same form everywhere, every time. All right. So we have made this special provisions to protect some areas owing to their cultural diversity or historical diversity, and we have termed them as scheduled and tribal areas. Getting my point? All right. Part 11. Relation between center, union, and states. Relation between center, which is also known as union, and states. Relation between center and states. Oh, just all right. Just go back to part 9 and write the articles under Panchayat. The articles under Panchayat are 243 to 243O. And municipalities, it is 243P to 243ZG. Just write down the articles. In Panchayat, it is 243 to 243O. Municipalities, it is 243P to 243ZG. Now you might wonder that why this 243O, why not 240, why not 243P or ZG, why this different nomenclature? Why not the simple article 243, 244, 245, 46, 47? All right, why not this? The reason is both the parts, part 9 and part 9A, were added afterwards. All right, were added afterwards. And if the normal sequence of numbering was followed, then we would have to amend the rest of the articles as well. All right, we would have to make 244, 245, 245, 246, 246, 247. Getting my point? So as to not do this entire exercise, all right, not to waste time, what we did, we branched out article 243 itself. 243, 243A, 243B, 243C up till 243O, then 243P से लेकर Z तक, फिर 243ZA, ZB to up to ZG. All right. Now, part 11, relation between center and union and states. Don't you think for the smooth functioning of the country, for the smooth day-to-day functioning of the country, the relations between this union and state must be harmonious? Yes or no? They must be harmonious. They must be well oiled. All right. Because if this not was the case, even the if center and state are fighting over the simplest of issues, the normal day-to-day working, the normal day-to-day life of citizens will be affected. Yes or no? है ना? Right? So to maintain the smooth functioning of the entire nation, the relations between the state governments and the center, they should be smooth. All right. And some disputes might arise. Constitution knows it that some disputes might arise, and Constitution has provided some dispute redressal mechanisms in the Constitution itself. Okay, so that any obstacle that might arise in the path is dealt with accordingly. All right. Now, the relations are actually studied under three heads. There are three main domains in which these relations between center and states are studied. All right. Legislative relations. You don't have to write this. You don't have to write this branched out part. Just write part 11, relation between union and states. That's enough. Legislative relations. Next is administrative relations. Administrative relations. The third one, and perhaps the most important one, is, tell me, financial relations. Financial relations. Right? Financial relations. Legislative relations, it means the distribution of legislative power. Legislative power is the power to make laws. All right. The center would want the maximum legislative power. The states would disagree. The state would want the maximum legislative power for themselves. All right. They would want to make maximum of laws, the maximum legislative power. So these relations are dealt with. All right. Administrative relations with regard to services, pensions, transfers, railways, operation of electricity, the transport of water, everything. Administrative relations. And the most important are financial relations. Right. Distribution of taxes, distribution of revenue. Let's say, for example, the GST collection in the country is 1 lakh crore rupees. All right. Now, every state would want the maximum share in the revenue. Yes or no? Yes or no? State of Assam would want more. State of Manipur would want more. Nagaland would have some other demands. State of Bihar would have some other demands. Andhra Pradesh would have some other demands. Yes or no? Everybody wants a bigger share of the pie. All right. So to address these disputes and everything related with it is dealt under part 11. All right. And let me mention it, since the question of financial relations has arisen. Constitution has created a different body just to deal with this sort of dispute. It is Finance Commission under Article 280. Constitution has created a body just to deal with this subject. What? Distribution of revenue. All right. Distribution of revenue distribution of money between center and states. It is explicitly done by a commission, a constitutional body called Finance Commission, which is constituted under Article 280. All right. It is a constitutional body, and for most of the times, for let's say 99% of the times, both the center agrees with its recommendation and the states also agree with its recommendation. Otherwise, had this body not been there, they would be pulling each other heads. Okay, now I want more money, you want, I'll not give you more money. All right, because it's a very delicate subject. All right, not on the national politics or international politics, but also in our personal lives. Right, it's the most important topic. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes, it is. Once you get into jobs, right? I'll ask you this question then. Then you will say yes. Relation between center and states. Part 12. finance comma property contracts and suits. Finance comma property contracts and suits. Part 12. What is suits? Not that Harvey Specter and my cross, okay? Not that suits. You know this? You know that or not? Suits देखा नहीं देखा? Suits is a legal case, right? When a state files a case against center, or when center files a case against state, they are said to have filed a suit against each other in either High Court or Supreme Court. Alright, let's say state of Arunachal Pradesh files a suit against state of Assam over the distribution of the waters of river Brahmaputra. Alright, water device is a very contagious issue. It's a very sensitive issue in every part of the country, not only in central India and northern India, but also in South India. Alright, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu are at loggerheads over the distribution of some rivers like Kaveri, Godavari. Alright, it's a very sensitive issue. So it happens very frequently that states fight against each other and they settle and they try to settle these cases in the river boards, okay, or into the Supreme Court. So whenever this thing happens, for example, in relation to water, or it could happen with relation to railways, or with the distribution of power, electricity, alright, there are many things it could happen, or on the territorial dispute, right? One state could claim that this village lies in my boundary, the other state says no, in my boundary. These things, they happen occasionally, alright, they happen frequently. So they file suits against each other, and all those cases are heard in respective high courts or in Supreme Court. Clear? Clear hai? ठीक? All right. Part number 14. Services under the union and states. Services under the union and states. Yes. Part 13 नहीं हुआ? हाँ, okay, oh, sorry. We forgot part 13. Sorry for that. Trade, commerce, and intercourse within the territory of India. Within the territory of India. Trade, commerce, and intercourse within the territory of India. It means, its summary is that no state can prefer any state in terms of trade and commerce, okay? And no state can put another state at a disadvantage in terms of trade and commerce, alright? It means everybody, every state and every union territory has to treat every other union territory and every state at par, right? Fairly and squarely, without any bias, without any pressure, or without any favor, right? As far as trade and commerce is concerned. ठीक है? And part 14 is services under the union and states. Okay, tell me, we are studying for SSC, alright, yes or no? And banking. SSC is a central government service or state government service? This is a central government service. The recruitment is being done by central government. The recruitment is done by central government. SSC is a central government body, alright? Service Selection Board, it's a Staff Selection Commission, it's a central government body, alright? With a AISL, with All India Service Liability, right? Once getting selected, once recruited, you can be posted in any of these states, okay? You can be transferred into any of these states because you have this All India Service Liability. Same goes with banking. right? If you clear SBI PO, it's a central government service with a AISL, All India Service Liability, right? Then there are state government services. For example, recruitment into Manipur Police. It is done by the government of Manipur. It's a state service. All right. Haryana Police. It's a state service. All right. The recruitment will be done by the state government. है ना? And then there is no All India Service Liability. If a person is selected in a state service, then all his transfers and all his postings and his retirement will be done in that state only. All right. He will not be transferred to any other state. Right. Getting my point? So the services have been classified under two heads: central government services and state government services. Right? Yes. Any doubts so far? All clear? ठीक है. Part 14. बाकी के हमारे जितने पार्ट बचे, some 6 to 7 parts are remaining. We'll cover them in next class. All right, guys. Any doubt? Shall we end the session? चलो ठीक है. All right. Thank you. Let's see you tomorrow.
Last question of previous class. Yesterday, Bengal government, CM Mamata Banerjee, passed a bill in lower assembly of the Bengal, right? Rape accused or victims, right? Name of the law. First of all, to become a competitive student, you have to immerse in everything. And the most important thing, listen, just there are so many papers happening some months ago. And one of the most important was selection phase 12, SSC. Selection phase 12. Selection phase 9, 10, 11, then 12. And the importance of this paper is, if you want to join as LDC in any government sector, you have to appear in prelims, mains, then typing. If you want to appear in CGL, means the upper division clerk, the minimum post designation. Then again you have 3 steps, pre, mains and typing. And if you join as a ASO or AAO, then you have 4th paper also for statistics. Selection phase means, look what happened currently. There are 36 lakhs form filled for 17,922 posts of CGL 2024, which start to going on 9th of September from to 26th of September. There are 36 lakh forms. I think that 6 lakh form could be rejected. If, yeah, there are so many ways of rejection of form in SSC. IBPS, SBI, they accept the pics with the specs. But SSC and railways reject that pic. Means you all have master photograph without spec. And next thing, you must have a photograph in which your both ears clearly visible. Otherwise, again, form rejected. Remember these 2 things, before filling up the form of railway NTPC or in SSC. And then after, the distance of the center. One of the student of Delhi has center in Tirupati. You guys know where Tirupati is? Andhra Pradesh. One of the student from just near state, Haryana, Sonipat, he got the center in Thrissur. Thrissur is a very famous place at the bank of Arabian Sea in Kerala. Right? So now what? 5 out of 10 or 4 out of 10 people don't show any interest to upon the paper, right? So the work of SSC become easy. That's why I never say the process of selection is this. No, it's not process of selection. It's process of rejection. Wrong form filled, reject. Specs, reject. Right? far centers reject. And there are so many villages in India. India is the country of village, right? In Delhi, 5G launched in Delhi, right? So the speed of the 4G become like this. And this is the most irritating thing in the work of internet, in the world of internet, like the buffering. Huh? So because of the speed of net in all the villages of India is so slow. So 2 out of 10, leave it. Again the work of SSC become or railway become easy. And then comes the question paper. Out of 25, everyone can solve 14 on 15 questions. Like the previous class of number series. It's nothing more than plus or minus, right? Now tell me the answer of next question. Selection phase 12 means in this 2024 CGL, Ministry of External Affairs has, Foreign Ministry, has 2,800 vacant seats. 2,800 all over the country. They announce only 1,200 vacancy. How many left then? 1,600, right? So, till the final paper, means the typing test or the skill test, if they announce more, then they will add in that SSC. SSC is just a contractor, right? And if 1,000 posts or something left, they didn't announce, then that kind of paper they merge on graduation level, on 12th level, and on 10th level. They again organize a paper called Selection Phase 13. And in that paper, there is only one paper of 200 marks. But cutoff is so high. The cutoff of general candidate of Selection Phase 12 is 168.80355. Exactly. And one of my student scored is it pass or fail? Fail. By how many numbers? 0.0003. Oh, sorry, yes, 3. His mother asked, कितने number से fail हुआ? How many marks you fail in exam? You don't understand how much marks I don't score. Right? And this happened to him twice. Continues. So on Saturday, early in the morning, when I took my first class at GTB Nagar, something around 9:30 or 10, he just knocked at the door of the classroom. Hello, I was in class. And suddenly I look at him. What happened to you, Mohit? I take the same medical medicine you should take daily. Was drunk. Okay. And I am here to visit you last time. And I'm going to dive in front of metro. Okay. Okay, that's nice. So if this is our last meeting, so please take class. Then I said. And he was with me till 5 p.m. of the evening. His father passed away when he was in 10th standard. So I call her maternal grandfather in Santnagar. He works in his shop and earns some money to fill the forms. I said, look, he has suicidal syndromes in mind. So either tide him in your house for 2 or 3 days or keep an eye. So today morning he called me, says, sorry sir. Well, no, this time sorry doesn't work. Come and meet me, then I will thrash you. So this happened. If anyone failed by such tiny numbers, right, then there will be need of the lion's heart to survive for this, right? That's why you have to be focused on GS. He scored 50 in reasoning, 50 in maths, 49 in English. Then what left now? GS. That's what is the name of the law in Bengal the past one day before yesterday. The name of that law is Aparajita. Aparajita is a kind of flower. Right? So there is no teacher for GS. You are your teacher for GS. Make a notebook of GS if you want to succeed in exams. There are so many things. You guys know Vande Bharat? What is Vande Bharat? It's a train. What a kind of new venture of Vande Bharat central government going to launch? These are the current things, right? The most difficult thing in the world is to education, to get educated, right? So we were on number series, first chapter, and we did, I think, something around 18 or 20 questions, right? Easy questions. So today will be the day of easy to moderate. But first of all, I will show you a trailer of the level. Solve it. First solve it, then we will move in a bunch of 6 questions. Yes, I know 62 and 42 doesn't have any comma between. It's 6242. Amit, Amit, this is just a trailer of KGF chapter 3. How many digits in first number? Oh, means more than 3, right? In the complete syllabus of number logical reasoning, whenever you have more than 3 digits number, don't apply your operation on complete number. Whenever you have a number more than 3 digits, right? Then don't apply your logic on complete number. Just think about the operation among the digits. And you have so many operations, like the simple operations like plus, multiply, divide, minus, right? Look how to solve it. So first of all, don't think that I forget a comma here, right? It is 6,242, but that number has more than 3 digits, right? So don't think like 6,242. Start your logical thinking like 6242, right? Now the first operation. 6 plus 2, 8. Plus 4, 12. Plus 2, 14. Then 9 plus 6, 15. But next is not 16. So we have to withdraw from this, right? Anyone have answer? No. Okay. Now, which kind of operation left now? Look, plus is a positive word. Multiply is a positive word. Divide, minus, right? So, now, look, the magic of the logical reasoning. 6 to the 12. 12 4 ja 48. And 48 to the 96. 9 6 ja 54. And 5 4 ja answer. Mhm. We will move slowly, slowly to this level. That's why reasoning is also known as mental maths. There are 7 feedback forms in which the feedback is, first of all, teach your teacher how to add. And all because of the questions like those 12th pass kiddos. They only know that 3 plus 2 is always 5. They don't know anything about reasoning. They don't know the R of the reasoning. And I was in class, I was writing like 3 plus 2, 17. 4 plus 3, 145, something like this. Then one of the student walked away from the class, take the feedback form, and first of all, teach your teacher how to add. That's why. So, now the next simple 6 questions, right? Simple questions, only plus, minus. Again, I'm just reminding you the basic things. If numbers in the question are near to each other, then what should be your first step of the logic? Either plus or minus. If the difference between the numbers are increasing like more and more and more, if the last number is more than 20 times of the first number, then what step should be you take? Multiply. If a question is start with 0, then square or cubes logic. And if any number near to the perfect square or cube, then leave about the plus, minus, divide, multiply. Think just about the square or cube. Practical now. Look at the board. Write down first. 3, 8, 27, 112, question mark, 3396. And your options are 565. Yeah. Sorry. Oh, it's fine, huh? First question. Second. 6 questions. Numbers are near to perfect square or cube. Then please don't do plus, minus, divide, multiply, right? And there are 5 questions based on the same. Look, I'm telling you one. This number 65. Is this number 65 near to any perfect cube or square? Yes. 65 is near to 64. And you all are in competitive class. Why 64 is so famous? There are 2 famous things about 64. First, it's a perfect cube of 4 and it's a perfect square of 8. So we can write 65 as 4 cube plus 1, right? 20, 28 is near to 27, right? We can write 28 as 3 cube plus 1. Is it? We can write 9 as, not a square, 2 cube plus 1. And we can write 1, 2 is 1 cube plus 1. Now series means what? Sequence, the process. Look at the process now. 1 cube plus 1, 2 cube plus 1, 3 cube plus 1, 4 cube plus 1, and to get the answer, 5 cube plus 1. Answer is 126. Now you guys have 4 minutes to solve all the questions. Please solve. 4 minutes. It's 5-7, 5-11. Answer of this. Yeah. Start with 0. Look. Now, all. 1 square minus 1, 2 square minus 1, 3 square minus 1, 4 square minus 1, 5 square minus 1, 6 square minus 1. Answer is 35. Again, it's 7 square minus 1. Because, look, and there is one more logic in this. The numbers are not so far from each other here. So we can think like this also. Plus 3, plus 5, plus 7, plus 9, 3, 5, 7, 9, then 11. Answer 35. Right? Now, again this 63. Again this 63 is near to 64. So we can write 4 cube minus 1. We have to save time for maths and English. 3 cube minus 1. 2 cube minus 1. 1 cube minus 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 cube minus 1. Answer 124. Again this 24. 24 is near to 25 as well as 27. So first we have to solve on cube, and if this doesn't, then move towards a square. Look, 3 cube minus 3, 4 cube 64 minus 4, We are doing this because these numbers are near to perfect square and cube. And you can also see these numbers near to perfect square and cube. But before of that, you have to learn the perfect square and cube. Otherwise, 5 cube 125 minus 5. 6 cube 216 minus 6. To get the answer, what will be the calculation here? 7 cube. Tell me the cube of 7. It's 343. Then cube of 8. So, Savas. Very nice. Cube of 9. I'm not going to ask the cube of 10. 11. 12. 12. Cube of 12. Nice. 13. 2197. 2197. 14. 4096. 15. 3375. Then after, you can see number like this. Answer here is, look, this is the process. When they must ask now question like, when numbers near to cube and square, they know the paper makers. Their IQ level is so high. There are 55 people in panel. The headquarter of the Staff Selection Commission is near to Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium, New Delhi. The place is known as Lodhi Colony. The building is known as CGO Complex. There are 55 people in that group, which are HR, Skill 1 officers, right? And the youngest one in that group, his name is Kirti Narayan Jha. My friend from 6th standard to graduation, right? The youngest one means he works 18 years as an officer in somewhere, in some ministry, then give the internal paper of HR, then become the paper maker. There are 55 panels. They entered in the cabin by eye scanning like this. Oh, these are, yes. The people, trust of lakhs of the people depend on them. That's why their IQ levels are so high. They know that 2 out of 10 people can understand the value of the cube and square. That's why they ask again. They can't make any question tough on plus or minus. Right? Whenever they want to make a question critical, they did like this. 3 cube plus 3, 4 cube plus 4, 5 cube plus 5, 6 cube plus 6, then 7 cube plus 7. Answer 350. Yes. Who's a happy Teacher's Day, sir? Okay. I don't enjoy the YouTube classes or live. This is live. This is a different kind of life, right? This is not for every people. We don't like the acting of the class. We need living people in front of us. Someone look. All you guys know that I don't know about so many things about these kind of boards, right? My first class. So what? One day, someone, the owner of this institute, told me, you have to take the online class. Well, okay, let's start. If you are in Rome, do what Roman did. So I start class. I asked the studio operator, why you call me to take class? I was happy in COVID lockdown. I drink a lot, I eat non-veg a lot. I love non-veg. So, you guys know this? Oh, I think I asked this before. Yes. It's so nice in taste. So, that studio operator told me, I asked him, I need students, the living students. He said, sir, think that this camera is a student. Okay, look. Then I intro all the chapter. And then I start asking questions like this. and then moved towards camera and said, tell me the answer. The computer, the studio operator said, sir, aap kya kar rahe ho? What are you doing, sir? You told me that treat them as a student. Same I'm doing. That's why I hate online classes. Those are not teachers, those are YouTubers. Right? If they start teaching on YouTube, the what that's a view or the subscribers, right? Going downwards. That's what they do, different kind of things, abusing the other teachers to make their market. Yeah, these all things happening in Mukherjee Nagar. There is a very famous name, Neetu Singh of English. But in his class, in her class of online, he never teach to anyone. Always abuse some other teachers to make views larger or more and more, right? That's why this happens. Suddenly I look at that, happy teachers day, sir. You don't know this is happy day or something? What is the answer of first? Look, I'm showing you how a beginner deal with the question after taking the class. That 3 is near to 4. So it can be 2 square minus 1. Then that 8, 3 square minus 1. But then comes 27. It's 5 square plus 2. 2 minus 1 plus. Next, I don't know. So I withdraw from this logic. And there is no logic of cube here. So now what? Look at the difference between the numbers. The difference between first two number is 5, right? Then 19. Understandable. But then after, sudden increase in the difference. And that's why we discuss when the difference between numbers increasing more and more and more. Then we look at the last number, if the more than 20 times of the first, then there must be the logic of multiply. Now we all know that 8 doesn't come in the table of 3. So we have to think like, look, 3 2s are 6 plus 2, 8. Yes. Now what should multiply to 8 to reach near to 27? 3. 8 3s are 24 plus 3, 27. Now we all know the process. Into 2 plus 2, into 3 plus 3, then into 4 plus, into 4 plus 4. 27 4 jo 108 plus 412. And now to find the answer, it is into 5, 2, 3, 4. Into 5 plus 5. Answer is 5, 6, 5. Write down. Whenever there will be the logic of multiplication, the expression of the numbers are like this. Start with a small number and ends with a larger number in comparison of the first number. Very large. What is the 20 times of 3? It is just 60. What is the 20 times of 60? 1200. That last number of the question is more than the 40 times of the first number. So we have to take the step of multiplication. Done? Next 6 questions now. Hundred. Write down. 7, 25, 61, 121, question mark. Your options are 210, 211, 212, 209. 2, 10, 30, 68, question mark. Your options are 125, 130, 128, 135. Two questions. 5, 16, 51, 158, question mark. Your options are 1452, 483, 481, 1454. Next. 2, 7, 24, 77, question mark, 236, 723, 2180. Your options are 2, 7, 24, 77, 723, 2180. Your options are 238, 242, 257, and 263. Mic off हो गया. ये तो हम ऑफ करते हैं. ऑफ है ना? चल रहा है. रख दो, रख दो. सवाल है. कुछ भी ना सुनो. ये लो. मैं मुझे बड़ा मिलो. के बाद पहुंचाऊं. चाबी पर और ये पुलिस वाले होगा. बहुत बुरा था। ये भी लोग तो रहे क्या? कभी बीमारी से होगा, ऐसा नहीं है। हेलो, मैं वाला फोन तो नहीं काटे छे ना? हेलो, पता छे हमें हैं? जस्ट है, ठीक है, ठीक, वो ठीक है। हेलो, बहुआ ठीक है, बहुआ ठीक है। ऐसे नहीं ठीक है ना? नहीं ना? चलो, हाँ कुछ आते हैं ना वो। अरे यार एक्सपायर थोड़ी सी यार, वो तो देखिए। ठीक है, चलो हम ढक्का में पढ़ा रहे हैं। ठीक, भाई यहाँ इतने नहीं दे दिए हैं। चलो हम मैनेज कर दे देते हैं। अच्छा ठीक है, हम देख लेंगे। और कुछ नहीं करना कुछ है? ठीक। अच्छा चलो, ध्यान दीजिए। तुम्हारे बहुत पड़ते हैं। हाँ, आप ठीक कर रहे हो, तो वैसे तो इलाज कर रहा है। अरे तो बच्चों लोग को अगर मान लो एक फोन है ना, काली वाली को लड़कियां बैठे रहेगी साथ में, समझ गए? हरियाणा वाली answer of the first is 211, right? 211. And again the same process. Again the first attempt is, the first number is 7, and that 7 is near to the perfect cube of 2 as well as the near to the perfect square of 3. So means first attempt should be on powers like this. 2 cube minus 1, 3 cube minus 2, 4 cube minus 3, 64 minus 3, 61. So the next number should be like 5 cube minus 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cube minus 4, 200, oh sorry, 6 cube minus 5. Answer 211. Second question. Again, look at the number 68, again near to 68. Again and again, more and more questions. 4 cube plus 4, 3 cube plus 3, 2 cube plus 2, 1 cube plus 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cube plus 5, answer 130. Done. Near to square and cube. Now just tell me, don't tell me the answer. First tell me what is the expression of the third question? Is it plus or multiply? Multiplication, right? And we all know that 16 doesn't come in the table of 5. But we all know that 15 comes in the table of 5. So it will become like 5 3s are 15 plus 1, 51. Again, the difference between the numbers are increasing like this. The last number is more than the 20 times of first. That's why I put the first effort of multiplication. What should multiply to 16 to reach near to 51? And to this, to fast calculation, we must learn tables as well, right? 16 3s are 48 plus 3. 51 3s are 153 plus 5. So now the pattern become like every time multiply by 3 and the sum of the odd numbers. So to get the answer, 158 into 3 and plus 1, 3, 5, next odd number 7. 158 into 3. 153 is a 450 and 8 3 is a 24. 474 plus 7. Answer 481. Answer 238. Right? Again, every time, whenever the distance increases in a folding manner, there must be the logic of multiplication. Look, again the same pattern. That's why we are here, to catch the pattern. 2 into 3 plus 1, 7 into 3 plus 3, 24 3s are 72 plus 5. Again the same process like the previous one. 77 3s are 231 plus 7, 238. Answer. And now, how many question marks are there? 2. What is the definition of the two question marks? Two number series compiled to each other. That's why we have two question marks. But I have another question for this question. Do anyone out of you got the 16 in that question, but don't have the complete answer? Right? There are so many people like this who find the 16, but that 16 comes twice in the options. Because the paper makers are not very well-known person of us. Have anyone the answer of that question? You have. Wait. Someone asked me, sir, are you from Chambal? Means I look like a bandit. No, son, I'm not from Chambal. I'm from Dangal. Okay. Two question mark means two series compiled to each other. And that means there must be the process of alternate. What is the meaning of alternate? Which day is alternate of Thursday? Saturday. Same happened here. What is your answer? Yes. And now you have right options also as well. Process. Very nice. Plus 2. Right? Plus 3. Plus 4. Then plus 5. So 16 eliminated. Now what? Look. Yeah, did. 4. Square of 4. 16 minus 1. Square of 7. 49 minus 2. Square of 11. 121 minus 3. Square of 16. 256 minus 4. Answer. I repeat. Plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, plus 5. Then 4 square minus 1, 7 square minus 2, 11 square minus 3, 16 square 256 minus 4, 252, comma 16. Answer. What is the answer of last? Show me your pattern logic. Just show me your notebook like this. Yes. Answer of the last. The question, what is the initial of that question? 0. Do you have the logic of powers or something? Yes. So 9 out of 10 times when a question starts with 0, there must be the logic of cube or square. So now what now? So we don't need to focus on plus minus. We don't need to focus on divide multiply. We save our time. Look. One cube minus 1 square, 0, right? 2 cube, 8, minus 2 square, 4. 3 cube minus 3 square, 27 minus 9, 18. 4 cube minus 4 square, 64 minus 16, 48. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cube 125 minus 25. Answer is 100. Then 6 cube minus 6 square 180. Start with 0. Think about the cube and square. Is there any other logic for last question? Again based on square as well. Look, we have to find 0 first. So it is like 1 square into 0. The result will be 0. 2 square into 1. Now the result will be 4. 1 square, 2 square, 3 square into 2. 9 to the 18. So 1, 2, 3. 4 square into 3. 16 3 the 48. And to get the answer, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 square into 4. Answer 100. 25 for the 100. How many questions we did today? 12 or 16, 18, 12, 6 more. Answer of first. 1135. What kind of relation we can establish between 9 and 27? It can be 3 square, 3 cube, means 3 raised to power 2, 3 raised to power 3. But then we need 3 raised to power 4. So there is no logic of powers, right? Now what? Then there is another relation. 9 3s are 27. So 9 into 3, 27. Now tell me, what is the distance between 27 and 31? Just 4. So plus 4 into 3 plus 4. Again 31 and 155 has a good distance. Now again, distance increases, there must be multiplication. 31 5s are 155. Now the process is into 3 plus 4 into 5 plus 6, then into 7, and to get the answer, look, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Answer is 1135. Next, mixed fraction. Convert this into simple fraction. 3 into 33. 99 plus 1, 100 upon 3. We did a kind of question like this earlier in first class. But in this question, there will be a little bit of twist, like 20. It's 100 upon 3. We can write 20 as 100 upon 5. 100 divided by 5 will give you 20, right? So now look at the process. 100 upon 3, 100 upon 5, 100 upon 7, 14 7s are 98 plus 2, 100 upon 7. So numerator is always 100 and denominator increases by, so there must be 100 upon 9, and 100 divided by 9, answer 11 and 1 upon 9. Next. The difference between these two, 60. Difference between these two, 59. 60, 59, 58. Answer 5823. What is the expression of the question number 4? Multiplication, yes. Answer is 14,916, right? Look, 40 into 3 plus 3, 123. 123 into 4 plus 4 into 3 plus 3 into 4 plus 4, then into 5 plus 5, then into 6 plus 6. Answer. What is the expression of the last question? Not the second last. Again it is multiplication. Every time, whenever there will be a multiplication, the arrangement of the numbers are like similar every time. 8 3s are 24 plus 4, 28. 28 4s are 112 plus 4, 116. Now this time the process is, the multiply increases 1 1 and the sum constant 4. 103 4. 116 5s are 580 plus 4. So now the process is 3 4 5 4 4 4 4. Answer 3508. One cube, 1. 1 square, 1. Add both, 2. 2 cube, 8. 2 square, 4. 8 plus 4, 12. 1 cube plus 1 square, 2 cube plus 2 square, 3 cube plus 3 square, 4 cube plus 4 square, 5 cube plus 5 square, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cube plus 6 square. Answer 252. Anyone who get the answer of this? 252. There is one more logic for this. Answer same, logic different. 1 square into 2 will give you 2. Then 2 square into 3. 4 3s are 12. Now what? 1, 2, 3 square into 4. 2, 3, 4. 36. 4 square into 5. 16 5s are 80. 5 square 25 into 6. 150. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 square into 7. 36 into 7 will give you 252. In India, each state has a different PCS paper, like Manipur Administrative Services, like Rajasthan Administrative Services. So I ask you a question from RAS. Rajasthan Administrative is a kind of series. In a manner of series, Tamil Nadu, then after Kerala, then after Karnataka, what comes next then? Sure. What kind of rotation this is? Very nice. What comes after Karnataka? If we follow this as a series, don't think about the South India. There are 5 states belongs to South India, and in option there are 2 states belong to South India. One is Andhra, another is Telangana. So don't think about that concept. Otherwise, although I had answer with pure exact logic, but I need some more answers. Answer is Maharashtra. Reason? It's like a rotation, right? Good. Now we have 2 answers. According to Indian map, Tamil Nadu is on foothills. Then clockwise, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, then Maharashtra, then Gujarat, then side Goa. So answer is Maharashtra, right? Reasoning means mental ability test. In next class, now the real thing is the easy questions completed. In next class, yeah, it's a fair game. Next class, the questions will be tough, not the moderate also. Tough, right? So in next class, we will discuss more questions from this and start a new chapter. Thank you very much. Kurumzari.